friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am dishing about my project pan items. I have managed to finish off a single item, make some good progress on other items, and then I'm actually going to bring in 3 new items for this project. So I'm going to go ahead, as I always do, and start with the item that I finished off first. I'm willing to bet you already know what that item is, but I have managed to polish off my Essence You Better Work Gym Proof Fixing Spray. At my last update, I was at this mark and I really went through it pretty quickly. In truth, I really like this spray. I also like the price point of it. However, it has less than 2 ounces of product. So if we were in a regular setting, that amount of product is not a great amount because I'm about to start school again where I'll be applying a full face of makeup every single day. And under those circumstances, I'll fly through this. This is just so little product. Again, it's not super expensive, but I'm willing to bet how quickly I would use it. Over time, it would really add up. So I would rather find a product that might be a little bit more expensive that has like somewhere closer to 3 or 4 ounces. That way I will be able to prolong the usage of it. But if you're looking for a setting spray that really will help stick makeup to your face and really be effective even if you're sweating, I definitely would recommend this spray. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm gonna move on to the items that I have been making progress on. I'll start with sort of my potted or my powdered products. First one that I have is my Physicians Formula Lip Sleeping Butter Mask. This is something that I have been working on religiously. Every single day I apply it. I am essentially at this point, which is super exciting. I have concentrated the remaining product to this side and I'm just going to go ahead and focus on it. I'll probably take my beauty spatula and move the product closer to the top so it's easier for me to get at. Me having impressed nails on pretty much all the time makes it a little bit hard to get product out of here, but not a big deal. I'm really thrilled to essentially be near the finish line of this product, and I imagine that by the time I come to you in another month, this will be finished off entirely. First powder product that we're talking about is my bronzer. It is from the Balm. It is the Balm Desert Bronzer / Blush. As a reminder, I did tell you guys I was going to repress it, and I have done that. So the comparison from last update to now might be a little bit difficult, but this is what I have remaining in here. So I decided to go ahead and repress this because the first time I repressed it, I ended up pushing a lot of product around the outer rim, which made it hard for me to pick up. So now I have reconcentrated it, and you can already see that I'm starting to hit pan throughout different areas. Again, I'm not a machine, so I don't press things evenly. I imagine, again, because I'll be wearing full face of makeup pretty much every day from here on out now that my summer is over, that I'll probably have this finished at the next update, which is really exciting because I have been panning this consistently. This has been like my ride or die only bronzer I've used for I think over a year. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen to my bronzer collection once I get a chance to scrutinize it, because I have been so hot on the tails of this that I haven't really touched any of my other bronzers, and I really want to decide if the ones that I have in there are ones worthy of sticking around and ultimately being panned. Next up, I have the blush and highlighter. As a reminder, I didn't have as much progress at the last update because I had been really hooked on a specific eye look. I still have been pretty hooked on that eye look, but I would say there have been a handful of times in the last month that I didn't go for that bronzy eye look and ended up going with something that worked with these 2 other complexion products. So I do have managed some progress. I'll talk about my blush first. That is from Benefit. It's the Rockateur blush. This is what we're currently looking at to help sort of point out some differences. I have broken open this little circle that was enclosed right here. And then if you look really closely, you can see here that more of the plastic like squares are starting to come through on the top. Again, it's very slow progress. I don't know how this is going to continue to wear down and still get picked up by my blush brush. That's a tongue twister. So we'll see how it carries on and progresses. I'm just curious to see what I can do when I start to move away from the bronzy look and go back to Old Faithful here. Now on to the highlighter. The highlighter that I've been trying to pan completely is my Becca Shimmering Skin Pressed Opal Highlighter. This is what it looks like So the progress is a little subtle, I would say, compared to last month, but I'm still aiming for the same objective, which is to even this out. So I keep working on the like outer bits here on this side and this side, so that way I can sort of even this out and work through it that way. I'm really thankful that this hasn't gotten crumbly. I don't really travel with it these days, not that I'm traveling really anywhere, but I'm not really traveling with it, so that I think is helping to preserve it. So I will keep plugging away at this, and we'll see where I'm at after another month. Continuing on with products that I have made progress on, I'm actually going to talk about a product I don't think I've really made any progress with, and that is my Benefit Hello Happy Soft Blur Foundation. This sadly has just gotten too light for where I currently am at. I got a lot of sun exposure in July, which is lovely, and even though I sunscreen like a fiend, I did get a little bit darker than this calls for, and I haven't really been wearing it, so I decided to pull in another foundation that I have been wearing instead to bring into the project. And my thought is that eventually, as we get more into September, I'm gonna have to start mixing the one that I'm bringing in with this one to get a better match. And then eventually, if I still have this left, it won't be very long until I end up needing this, because once I hit September, the weather starts to change. I'm outside less in general, or at least like I'm not going to the beach getting that kind of sun exposure or the lake. So it's more just like me outside walking. It's not as much exposure, so I will pale back out real fast. Let's talk primers. So I have been plugging away on my Milani eyeshadow primer. At the last update, I didn't draw a new line because I didn't feel like I had made much progress, and I've made a little bit more progress. I'm getting closer and closer to hitting the air pocket. I can feel that as I apply it every time. I'm not in a rush to use this. I am just curious to see how long I have left. This is an excellent eyeshadow primer. In case you didn't know, if you're looking for one, I highly recommend this. Other primer is my face primer. I'm actually a little bit surprised by this. It's the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, and I thought that there was a chance I would finish this off, but I'm not quite there yet. You can see here's where I was at the last update, and I'm down now to just like right below, I suppose, that black line. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get every last drop of this out. I'm not sure if I can pop the top off or if the straw goes all the way to the bottom. We'll find out, but I'm very confident that this will be finished off by the time I get to the next update, if not sooner. Another item from Benefit that I'm still working on is my What's Up highlighter, which I use as a eye base. This is what she looks like this month, very rounded off, slowly getting smaller and smaller. And when I compare this to the progress that I track on the cap, you can see that I just have a small amount of progress, but looking collectively over the course of the time that I've been trying to pan this, it's pretty consistent with typical months. Just a small amount of progress. One thing I'll say is that regardless of wearing a mask and all of that, I've still really appreciated wearing eye makeup. So that's, I think, helped maintain the progress of this. It's that I keep wearing eye makeup no matter what's going on. It's just one of those things that I enjoy creatively, putting eye makeup on and putting eyeshadow on, so this keeps getting used. Got an eyeliner update for you. I brought in last month the Maybelline Lasting Drama Waterproof Gel Pencil in Sleek Onyx. I'm doing a super scientific way of showing you my progress, which is holding it up against my pinky. And as a reminder, the black plastic part starts at this point. I don't know how many times I've sharpened this because I've had a real evolution of eyeliner over the last month. I've really started to explore an old facet of my makeup routine, which is brown eyeliner. I've had for years a number of brown pencils, but I recently purchased a liquid felt tip brown, and I've just been really reconnecting with it. I'm still using black. I still am enjoying this pencil, but I think my progress is a little bit less than what I would have anticipated had I not gone on that detour, but it's still pencil usage somewhere in my collection, and that's similar to in my hoarding closet body lotions. Pencil liners have been a real slow moving category that I've weeded them down, but now I'm at a point where I like the ones that I have and I just want to use them. So happy to get use out of this, happy to discover brown. We'll see which one ends up being the favorite at the end of next month. I have 3 lip products to update you on. 2 of them are glosses. I have the NYX Butter Gloss in Apple Strudel, and I have my Fenty Gloss Bomb in Sweet Mouth. I don't really have any progress to show you. The NYX Butter Glosses, it's really hard to see progress lines until you get to a point where you take the stopper out. I'm not at that point yet with this, so I'm wearing it mostly just like in the morning when I put makeup on and if I'm not immediately putting a mask on or when I'm filming. Same goes with Sweet Mouth. I can't see any noticeable resettlement from my initial line. There's a lot of product in these, so I'm not sure if the lack of seeing a new settlement line is due to the fact that like I have to use this so many times for there to be noticeable progress, but I am wearing it. It's still a minority of time that I'm wearing it. I don't reapply either of these during the day unless I'm home and I happen to think of it, which isn't super often. So I have these, I'm still plugging away, but nothing to like showcase for progress. I also have a lipstick, which is the NYX Butter Lipstick in Sandy Kiss. When I compare this to when I first started, it doesn't really look super different. The only thing I can point out to you is that I'm starting to round the top of the bullet out. That's kind of my MO. I don't tend to naturally keep this shape, so I'm sure I will keep rounding it before I start to have any progress that I can mark up against the cap. So it's being applied, same thing every morning, just like I was with my L'Oreal Ferris Nude lipstick. So this progress will be slow, but I'll keep at it. We can now talk about the new goods that I'm bringing in. I think I may have misspoke and told you guys I was only bringing in 3, but I'm actually bringing in 4 new items. These I'm basically all choosing to bring in out of practicality. I'm just naturally using them, so I may as well see the progress and how quickly I can make progress on these products. The first one is my new setting spray. We talked about this before a while back, but when I purchased the Essence setting spray, it was because I was at a point in my setting spray collection where I only have hydrating types of sprays, and for I'd say probably until October, I don't need a hydrating spray. I have to be very careful with my skin. If I overhydrate it, it will lead me to have an acne breakout, which isn't cute or fun. So I was tasked with purchasing a new setting spray that was meant to like last through heat, hence the Essence purchase. When I was initially looking at choices, I wanted to go with one from Milani, but it was out of stock and I actually seriously needed to get one. So I picked up the Essence one, but in the back of my head, I still wanted to try out the Milani one. So that's what I purchased for this particular challenge. I picked up the Milani Make It Last setting spray. This is supposed to prime, correct, set, all the claims. It's 2.3 fluid ounces. They make this in 2 sizes, but when I was looking to do Target pickup, the bigger jumbo size they don't have in store and I didn't want to pay to have it shipped, so I just picked up the smaller one. It's not as cheap as the Essence one, but it's also not that much more product, so I don't know if I'm gonna keep going with this. Again, if you guys have recommendations for this type of setting spray where it's meant to just lock it onto your face, let me know in the comments below. I'm looking for one that's not too expensive and has closer to 3 ounces of product, but this is where I'm starting. I had used it for a few days, so the product had started to move down, so I just wanted to draw a line. I recently sprayed it, hence why the bubbles are kind of blurring this. We'll see how I progress through it. I am curious how quickly I'll go through this compared to the Essence one. Again, they're kind of comparable in the end because this I think was $10 and it's 2 fluid ounces, and I think the Essence one was $5 and it's 1.69 ounces. So I don't know, I feel like they're kind of comparable in price per use, but we'll find out. I already alluded to this, but I am bringing in the foundation that I have been predominantly wearing. It is the J. Manuel Beauty Filter Finish Collection Skin Perfector Foundation in Light Filter 2. I essentially, despite it being called Light Filter 2, should have purchased Light Filter 1, but it's neither here nor there. So I've had to mix this more often than not, and then finally getting tan this summer, it now is a decent match for me. I really like this foundation. I like the texture of it. I like the look of it on my skin. It is a bit more full coverage than I typically go for, but I still think it looks nice on my face. I don't think that it looks like a super heavy foundation on my skin, which I never really like the look of that. And you guys can see that I'm about halfway through this. I don't know if I will finish this off completely in the project, because like I already mentioned, once we get a couple of weeks into September, this will be too dark for me, and then I will mix these two together to get the perfect match. But once I don't need to mix it anymore and I'm officially like back to my pale self, I'll just need this again. So we'll see how this unfolds. I feel like I do apply a lot of this or squeeze a lot of this out when I apply it, so maybe it'll get finished off between now and the end of September. Who knows? Other two items that I'm bringing in, one is a liner and one is a highlighter. For both of these, I'm bringing them in because I find myself naturally just using them more often. The first is the eyeliner I mentioned. It's the Sephora Crayon Contour Eye Pencil 12-Hour Wear Waterproof in Cocoa. I basically have like 3 or 4 different brown pencil eyeliners that I've been playing with. And the reason I'm sticking with this one is because it is the darkest brown of all of them. The other ones that I have are more of like a taupey shimmery brown, and this to me reads more true brown on my eyelid. It's also huge. This is a full-size item. I'm not going to keep track of this on paper. I'm again just going to hold it up against my pinky and we can see how it progresses. And I'm just happy that I'm exploring more of my makeup collection and actually making some great discoveries. So we'll see how I get on with this guy. Final item for this update is another highlighter, believe it or not. I'm bringing in basically the other go-to highlighter, that whenever I'm looking for a gold highlighter, this is the one that I pick. This, along with the Sephora pencil, came in like a Bronze Lovers Sephora Favorites kit, and I would have never purchased this for myself, and it took me a while to learn how to use it, but I love it. And it's from Lancome. It's their Glow Subtle Silky Cream Highlighter in Glowing Lights number 6. This, I don't know for certain, but it's what I imagine the texture of the ColourPop highlighters, the ones that aren't powder but are like this cream-like texture. I, as you guys can see, have made a lot of progress on this over the years. I hit pan a while ago, but what's weird about these is that the product, like if you have never touched these before, the product moves around. It's kind of like a squishy texture, and you pick it up and then I can pat it on to the high points of my cheekbones and stuff. I think this is a beautiful highlighter, and essentially if I'm not going with my Becca highlighter, I'm going with this. It's really the only like 2 types of highlighters I really use. In my collection, I do have probably 4 other gold-esque highlighters, but they're not all the same. They're subtly slightly different. Really probably all the same looking on the skin, but to me they're very different. And this is the favorite gold child. So I figured with me very much loving all of these gold eye looks and me just relying on this to get the job done, that I may as well try to see if I can formally track some progress and get an idea of, with regular use, how quickly I go through this, because again, this is my favorite. And you know, truthfully, these types of cream products are not gonna last as long as powder products. I'm surprised this has lasted as long as it has, but texture's still good, color payoff is still nice, doesn't break my skin out. So it checks off all the boxes of still proving its worth to me. And so I figured, why not bring it in? All right, guys, that is it for this update. I hope to have a few items finished off in the next update. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will talk to you in my next video real soon.